Welcome back to another episode of Two Average Husbands. And would you look at that? We have a guest 2 weeks in a row, and it just happens to be the same one.
Same one as always.
I am
Welcome
your
back,
host,
everybody.
Jake. Fuck you, Kyle. I'm your host,
You're
Jake.
taking too long. I'm coming in.
Well,
Coming in hot. I'm your host, Kyle. Jake already introduced the guest. Dane's back. Round 2, second week in a row. We delayed a day for him so that you guys could be here and experience Dane as well. Bing bong, it is 6 o'clock. Thank you very much, Carly. We are live. Welcome into the chat.
bing bong.
Bing bong. You guys missed out. We were jamming out to Feeding the Ducks, which is a default StreamYard music, and Jake was hitting the beats and rapping before we got into this.
That's what you call that.
It's an actual song. It was Gangsta's Paradise. I just made it work to the beat.
Yes, I know it's an actual song.
Okay, Jake, what are you drinking? Let's start with you.
I'm starting off this week. We have a little bit of a theme going on. So I'm starting off
Sure
with
do.
Off Color Brewing's Pumpkin Beer for Cafes, which is an ale brewed with pumpkin puree, tea, and spices.
Nice. Dane, you want to go next?
Well, I stick true to my word, and I always just pick what's out in the fridge. So I'm drinking a truly citrus squeeze.
Heck yeah, buddy. Uncle Kyle. Nobody cares about Central Time. West Coast, Best Coast. I'll introduce my beer and then we'll get started. It's not my week to go first, thank goodness, because I did that last week. You're welcome, Jake.
No,
So
you
this-
didn't go first last
Yes.
week. Dane went first last
I
week.
went first last week.
But in the order of Jake and I
Oh,
went
that's-
first.
But in honor of Kyle's birthday, which is what this episode
is
is also
true.
partially celebrating, I feel like it's only right that you go first because it is your birthday.
Ooh, I don't think so.
It
Anyway,
isn't
I'm
his
gonna-
birthday, though.
My first beer,
It's almost his
also on the
birthday.
theme of Halloweeny, aka pumpkin beers, is the Elysian Punkachino. I think is how you pronounce it. Right?
Pumpkachino.
Punkachino. They spell it a little weird, but I get it. Punkachino coffee pumpkin ale, which should be pretty good.
Sounds delicious. All right.
Beers are one of the best seasonals. Probably
1000%.
no debate.
I don't think there's a better beer season than fall.
Christmas
I
does
think-
a really good job sometimes, but fall is usually better.
You just got to think about like the fall flavors. Like there's so much more that you can do. Like what do you get really around Christmas that you don't get every other time of the year? Like peppermint is a little more prevalent. It's really
I
it.
think you get a lot of like nutmeg and spices and stuff in Christmas time frame too, so you can get some pretty good stuff.
You get a lot of that in holiday beers or like Thanksgiving beers too, as I'm about to show with
Sure.
my second beer.
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, a little bit of a spoiler. But all right, it is my week to go first. I will not force Kyle to go first on his not quite yet, but also technically his birthday
Thank you.
because this
Appreciate it.
episode covers the time frame. So I want to do kind of a little bit of would you rather
Okay.
with the squad. I've got some easy
Okay.
questions, I've got some hard questions, I've got some ones that are going to make you think a little bit.
Uh-oh.
We're here to use the dome piece.
Rarely. But okay, so this one going to start off nice and easy. You can only do one of these two things for the rest of your life. You can either work out by lifting weights or work out by doing cardio. Which one are you choosing?
Weights.
Dane?
Probably waits.
I'm also picking weights.
Yeah.
Glad we're a bunch of not runners here. Dane, didn't you just do a fucking like Tough Mudder or Spartan race, whatever it was, like a week
I
ago?
just did a Spartan, but when I train for Spartans, I do very little running, which is kind of ass backwards. But
I would say it seems a little
I have
problematic.
another one at the end of this month. That's 14 miles up a ski hill, and I'm doing
I
weight
flashed
training,
it up on
not
the
running.
chat, by the way, but Uncle Kyle said he's going to try to send Jake some.
He
beers,
did.
and-
He sent it to me, and I was intrigued by the options that he had that are like local to him.
Yeah,
So
yeah, 100%. Dude. USPS, get over yourself. Make it legal to send booze.
yeah, please make it legal.
Make it
Pretty
so much easier
please.
for me to try some regionals that aren't regional to me.
Okay.
All right, Jake, next. Let's go.
Next up is this one's gonna make you think a little bit more. You can only go to one of these two things for the rest of your life:
Okay.
sit down restaurants or bars.
Bar.
Bar.
Damn,
Easy.
my fat
No
ass.
thinking.
I'm picking
You
the.
could-
You
required.
could still get appetizers at bars. I mean,
You can
also
still
get
get
takeout from
alcohol
sit-down
at
restaurants?
sit down
that's-
restaurants.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I can
But,
get
yeah.
takeout, sit my happy ass at a bar that allows me to bring my own food.
Most of the bars around us don't allow us to bring in our own food unless we go to like a brewery or a tap room.
Since the advent of COVID-19, to be specific, Omicron, Persei 8, I don't really go to restaurants anymore, to be completely honest. We've gone out to eat probably less than, I could almost confidently say less than a dozen times since COVID.
Just
Like, it
likes
actually sat.
just likes going to restaurants, so inevitably we end up going to restaurants. Okay.
I'm exaggerating probably a little bit. I don't know. It's probably like 2 dozen. Anyway, doesn't matter. Not that much anymore. I'd much rather go to a bar.
All right. Next up. Would you rather only be able to watch YouTube videos for the rest of your life or never be able to play video games again?
Say that again.
If you're watching anything,
I the same thought you did.
watching something for, if you're watching anything for entertainment, it
Has
has
to
to be a YouTube video. It can't be, it's not just like a movie that's on YouTube. Like if it's not on YouTube right now, you cannot watch it
Okay.
or never play video games again.
Yeah, YouTube's fine. I'm not going to stop playing video games.
Yeah, same here.
I'm about to enter my 3rd decade of life, and I am completely open and acknowledging the fact that I'm never going to stop playing video games. I'll be
All right.
fucking
You ain't
90,
slowing
and I'm
down
gonna get one
anytime
of those-
soon.
I'm going to get an Xbox with one of those accessibility controllers or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm too old and have arthritis, and I'm still fucking playing video games.
Hell
You're not
yeah.
stopping to me. Hate to tell you.
All right. Would you rather get a text from, we haven't had one of these in a long time, but would you rather have a text from a one night stand that says, I'm pregnant or I have an incurable STD?
Oh, neither.
You got to pick one. That's the point of the
wow.
game.
That's
Mm,
the STD would cost less.
But it's uncurable.
thankfully, I'm married.
Yeah. Like I said, we haven't had these in a
I
long
don't have
time.
this problem. So, I don't know, dude.
Jeez.
Okay. This is going to get political if I go down this rabbit hole, but I am so pro-choice that it doesn't even matter. So I'm going to go baby on this one.
Yeah. I'm also going, I'm pregnant.
I would probably go that same route
Even,
as well.
even if, you know, obviously not together, not going to be with them, but that means only 50% of my time is spent with my kid. Yeah. I got to spend a lot of money on it, but I never have to have that conversation for the rest of my life. Like I have an incurable STD. Like you have to have that conversation every time after that you would have sex.
Yeah,
I'm not
on that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking the kid.
Yep.
That's
All right. Would you rather forget your favorite books so you can reread them again for the first time, or forget your favorite songs so you can re-listen to them again for the first time?
That's pretty good.
I know I'm taking the songs on this one. Music, if I never read a book again, I'd be fine, but I can't live without music.
I would probably go books just because I feel like in order for a song to become my favorite, I have to listen to it a whole bunch anyways. So
Yeah, I was going to say it was very rare that I listen to a song for the first time and go, fucking A, this is, you know.
exactly.
You guys clearly do not have ADHD.
I've had that experience, I would say, before, but it's not like a regular thing for me. So I think I would have to go with the book because I have read some books where I get to the end of that shit and I'm like, fuck, Christ, that was good. But I'm also like, I'm never going to read this again because A, I don't read that much, and B, like, I'd rather just pick something else up and try something new. And you're not going to have the same experience, obviously, twice. If you're, I mean, yes and no, but yeah, I'd have to go book for sure.
All right. Would you rather fight a chicken to death every single time you enter your car, or fight an orangutan to death once a year, but you get a sword?
Orangutan.
Orangutan.
Bro, I'm taking the chicken.
Nah.
You seen what these orangutans can do to people? You ever seen like an orangutan get
But I have a
somebody's grip
sword.
through the fence?
How often do you get in and out of your car though? I mean,
Not much. I work from home.
I get in and out of my car a lot.
all right, that's true. But I get in and out of my car a shit ton. So I mean,
Well,
a lot of dead chickens.
I also don't like fucking birds.
Yeah, but think about that. If you kill the chicken, you never have to pay for chicken again in the rest of your life. Double bonus.
No.
They don't call it
no.
choking a chicken for nothing
I'm
anyways.
not sitting in my car killing chickens and then eating them.
and then going, now that I've murdered this thing in my car,
And then you get out of your car with your dead chicken and get back in your car to go wherever you need to go.
Yeah.
And fight another fucking chicken.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Would you rather always feel the urge to pee or never know when you have to pee and it just happens?
Oh,
I'd rather just
probably.
like,
I think I'd rather not know.
yeah. I'd rather just wear a diaper all the time and just if I pee, I pee.
The urge to pee, like when it gets to the brink, is so
It's the
uncomfortable.
worst.
Yeah.
But
I think-
is it like just like the slight urge, or is it like you feel like you're gonna pee your pants?
Like you always are about to piss.
Then yeah, I'd go without knowing.
That is, I always tell people, like unsarcastically, that is the worst part of when I had kidney stones. Is because it pushed on your bladder, you always feel like you have to take a piss.
Yeah.
And then you like go to
and
piss
you
and
dribble out like 3
You-
drops. And
yeah, and it's the fucking worst. That's worse than any of the pain that comes from it. All right.
Sounds awful.
Would you rather give up swearing forever or give up your favorite food for 10 years?
Ooh,
Swearing.
I just truly don't know if I could stop eating pizza for 10 years.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm like, I almost feel like I have to
Yeah,
give
I'm
up swearing.
pasta, but yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
I could do that for 10 years.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't
you
think
guys
so.
know me. I'll eat that 3 meals a day. So
Yeah, I could
I-
literally eat pizza.
I can-
I could actually, in the inverse, I could eat pizza every day for the next 10
10
years
years.
and be completely happy.
You could. You've said that to me and on this podcast multiple times.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the whatever the other option was.
Give up
I'm
swearing.
forgetting- Yeah,
I can put
That
on
would
my
be tough, but-
I can put on my professional brain for the rest of my life.
sometimes I can.
All right. Would you rather have a pause button in your life or a rewind button?
Rewind.
rewind
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
because it's. I mean,
What's
it's not
a pause
pausing,
doing
but
for me? Yeah.
You
Especially
can-
if you're like mid bad decision, like
Yeah, you can stop
Really
yourself,
roll it
remove your.
back.
Yeah, you can. You remove yourself from the situation.
just pause and like go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then you hit play again, and somebody's like, "What the fuck? That asshole just did whatever and just left." Yeah, no, I'm gonna go rewind for sure.
Okay, and then this is the last couple aren't really would you rather's, but like would you take this opportunity? Would you take $10 million right now and know that there is a snail that is chasing you around the world for the rest of your life, and if the snail catches you, you die?
Can I put salt on it?
No, you cannot
can't- you
harm the
can't-
snail
you-
in any way.
Okay.
yeah, because then I just immediately take like a 6-month trip to the exact opposite of the world. Let the snail get as far away from there as possible.
But you never know where the snail is. You just know that it's out there.
Well, it
could-
can't teleport, so I mean, it's got to.
You don't know
The
that.
worst thing is like I feel like it would, like it's gonna catch you when you're sleeping.
Yeah,
That's when it's gonna happen.
I'm taking the money. I'm risking it. Fuck it.
Give me the options again.
You get $10 million,
Okay.
but the snail is chasing you for the rest of your life, and if it catches you, you die. It's a would you do it? It's more of a would you or would you not?
So okay, if I have $10 million, right, I'm just gonna live somewhere where I can surround my entire house in salt. And I'm not putting it on the snail, but that snail's not coming fucking anywhere near me at my house.
Well, and
So,
it's not going to
hey,
like
I'll take the
break
money.
into your house. So as long as all your doors and windows are closed,
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm in. I got
unless it's a powerful snail, it just kicks indoors.
the money. I'm good.
I'm just saying. Have you ever seen a snail, or does it just appear in your life? I'm just saying.
I used to go to this. Well, to make a long story short, I used to see slugs a lot, but not snails.
Yeah. Same. I think that's just a Midwest thing. All right. Would you get on a plane today knowing that there's a 10% chance you get ejected from that plane, but if you survive and are not ejected, you get off that plane with $1 million?
You're saying ejected in like the sense of a intentional ejection seat?
Yeah,
just
like
straight up
imagine-
thrown the fuck out.
You imagine you are in a plane. So there's 200 seats in the plane. 20 of those seats are rigged with ejecto seats, and they're going to go off randomly in the middle of the
No
flight.
parachute.
No parachute.
That's
But-
not how an ejection seat works. That's why I asked.
Anyways, but if you are not one of the 20 that are ejected, you get $1 million.
And there's 200 seats.
Yeah.
I'd probably just stick with no money and live. I mean, I
Put
know
me
that's
on
a
the fucking
high.
plane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting on
That's
the
a high.
plane.
Dude, you could get hit in a car accident that day when you're driving down the road.
Yeah.
With the exact same probability.
Yeah.
That's true.
Put me on the plane.
And hey, if I get ejected from the plane, I don't need the money anymore anyway.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think of how raunchy I want to get with some of these. All right.
Extremely.
Okay. You asked for it. You wake up. You're 2 inches deep in your mom, and your dad's 2 inches deep in you.
Oh
Do you
my
move
God.
forward or go backwards? Don't answer
Oh
that.
my
Anyways,
God.
Oh, what? Did you just come up with that on the
No.
spot, or was it already
No.
written down?
No, that's
Oh,
not-
God,
that
damn
one's
it.
that one's been around for a while.
Oh,
Where it's like, yeah, that's like
God.
truly like the worst would you rather that could
That's
be out there.
disgusting. Yeah.
And then, okay,
Oh.
would you rather risk, call it your any perceivable amount of income? No, switch it up. Okay, would you rather be in a coma for 10 years or be in jail for 5? I'm going to jail personally.
Jail for 5.
I don't know.
I don't
5
want
years is a long. Have you ever seen Orange is the New Black?
Yeah,
You know
that
how
was
much
like
shit
8.
can happen?
Yeah, that was like 18 months.
And then it was extended.
I only care about the
start
parts.
off with the 1 year sentence and then turn it because shit gets crazy in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I'll take the coma.
You want 10 years of your life to just fucking.
Well, that's why in jail you could still.
So do you
I
want
mean,
10 peaceful years that you're never going to remember and nothing, like you have no recollection of? Or do you want 5 years that could be potentially the most miserable of your life?
10 years that you're in a coma, you wake up, nobody in your life remembers you. Nobody cares anymore. Your wife
10
left
years
you.
later, nobody remembers.
Yeah, your wife left you.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Think about it. We're getting older. Our parents are older. There's a chance that they're not there when we get out.
Kyle, that's you waking up at
Your
40.
wife left you.
Your
That's
wife
me waking
left.
up at 40. That's true.
That's why in jail you could
Do
still.
those years
I mean,
count towards retirement? I can retire when I wake up.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm in. Give me the coma.
All right. Would you rather start your life over again or be 40 years old but have $20 million?
It's a weird one.
like start over and be clueless. or
Start over, you
with
know-
all the
you-
knowledge you have now.
You know everything you know now.
I'd probably start over.
40 for 20. Yeah, fuck it.
I'll start it over.
I'll start it over.
All my money's
start
going
it
into
all
Bitcoin.
over.
Every
I-
penny I got's going in Bitcoin. I'm selling at peak because I know what peak is.
So you're starting it over at the time that you were born. like,
Oh,
yeah,
see, I thought you meant like start over today.
Nope.
Like everything,
You-
like you don't know the future.
You get born,
well,
but you
Bitcoin
know
didn't
everything.
exists when you were born, so good luck putting all your money in Bitcoin right then and there. But
I'm going to be zero. I'm not going to have any money.
yeah, it's
But I'm going to know the spread of every Super Bowl, every baseball game, every football game.
that's yeah. I guess that's fair.
Uncle Kyle says give him the 20. 40's only 10 months away for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right. And then this will be the last one because I think this one will take a little bit of thought. Would you rather? Which one do I want to do?
Option number 2.
I'm at like the hardest ones, and I don't know.
This puppy's passed out.
Good
This
for
cat
him.
is not.
He's high on drugs.
I wish I was. Okay.
Okay.
Would you rather have your dream career or your dream everything else?
Everything else.
Everything else.
But what if your dream career includes you having
I
a
have dream
perfect
career.
life?
Easy decision for me. Next.
All right. Well, I thought this was going to be quicker or longer. All right. Let me get another one. Would you rather be the second best in multiple things or the best in only one thing?
Second best.
Do I get to choose what the thing is?
We'll go with no.
Then I'd go second best in multiple. Yeah.
Same. If you could choose.
Then I would take the
Okay.
that one thing because then you can pick. You know, like I could be the best fucking quarterback in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like I could pick something that's going to give me fuckloads of cash and shit too.
That's true.
That or you know even like if it's like I want to be the best fucking carpenter in the world, whatever it might be. Like you can pick your passion. And
I'm the
pick
best
off
at
that.
making money in the world.
Sure, whatever you. Yeah, whatever. Best at the stock market.
All right.
Bada bing, bada boom.
This is the final one.
Okay.
Would you rather know when you're going to die
Mm-hmm.
or how you're going to die?
Mm-hmm. This is a good one. I've heard this one before.
Yeah.
Mm,
I personally would rather know when.
I don't
I would
know.
rather know when because then it only stresses me out that time. Like if you find out how you're gonna die and say like a plane crash, every time you get on a plane, you're gonna be freaking out.
Yeah. Is this the
Until it
last one?
That's
happens.
true, but if you know when, that means you're going to be stressing the fuck out for the entire duration
I think it'd be-
up to
but
that point.
I see so many people though who get like a terminal diagnosis and they're like, I just have clarity for these last 10 months or whatever I have. I know that I'm living the rest of my life now. So I'm just going to go do whatever the fuck I can.
Sure, but what if your when is 50 years from now?
then I've got 50 years to keep
Yeah.
living my life and I don't have to stress about it.
I'm just saying that the clarity piece it's changed, right? So like somebody that says that like they get this clarity all of a sudden, usually it's a short-term lifespan, right? Like they're like, I've got 12 months and I'm gonna fucking rage. Like I'm gonna do all the things that I've ever wanted to do. If you have 50 fucking years,
Yeah.
and you know I'm fucking dead in 50 years, that's gonna like, cause some dread for a long time.
But see,
Not really.
the
50
thing
years
is,
right
if
from
you
right
know
now.
When you
Yeah.
know when to stop working though and start really living, and
Yeah.
if you just know how,
You're just gonna avoid something,
I would
and
stay
it's
in
gonna
work
happen
if I knew
anyway.
how I was
to be
gonna
completely
die.
honest, I'd rather have neither. But if I had to pick, I think I'd go with the how. I don't
I'm
want to
pi-
fucking know.
I'd rather know, especially if it is 50 years. If I know I'm dying at 77, I know I've
Well-
got plenty of time to live my life. Like if you told me right now I was going to live to 77, I'd be shocked. I don't think I'm going to make it that long.
Hmm.
You know how
Well,
my
and that's
genetics
why,
are?
like, even
The
if it
United
was
States
just like
lifespan
2
has gone
years.
down 2 years in a row.
Exactly. 77 is above average lifespan. I'm above average. I'll take that. This is 2 average husbands. I got to strive for above when I can get it.
I'll take the how.
All right.
All right.
That's all I got. Hopefully that was fun for you guys. Dane, how was that first Truly for you?
It was fantastic, actually.
On
I
a
didn't
1 to
know
5
that
scale. Well, 0 to 5 actually.
Using
0 to 5?
0.25 increments.
That's correct.
In 0.25 increments.
Nice. Unmuted burp count 1.
Like a 3.75. Wasn't the greatest thing I've ever had, but it was
3.75 is high on a 5.
It's
Pretty
pretty
solid
good.
for a Truly.
it's pretty good. I actually do enjoy Trulies.
This beer fucking sucks.
That's sad.
It's like a 2 1/4.
Okay,
That might be generous. It's not. It tastes like pumpkin, but not like candied pumpkin, like raw pumpkin. So it just kind of tastes like. I don't even think bitter is the right term. Like it just tastes kind of like shitty. Like it's just like
This-
yeah.
This beer, the Elysian Punkachino, is getting a 4.0 for me. This is delicious. Dave, welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, this is a solid 4.0. This is a good beer. It's got the coffee flavors, it's got the pumpkin flavors, and it's not raw pumpkin. It's actual, delicious pumpkin. So
About tree fitty. I'll give you
Quick
250.
question: what is the highest ranked beer you guys have had so far?
that is a good question. I have to look at my history again.
Yeah,
because
let me
I
pull
always thought it
If
was
you got to
good.
pull it up, I didn't know if you guys had it right in front of you.
No, I
You
can
know,
pull it up
I'm
super
just-
quickly here.
I'm
I
just
used
curious
to,
because
It's a good minute killer.
I can go back. I think it's in statistics.
Activity.
Oh, that's not where it is.
Oh,
If you
Yeah,
find
it
it
was
before I do, let
puppies.
me know.
Profile, beers, see all, and then sort by rating, high to low. So I have 2 beers that have a 5.0 rating. One is Penrose Brewing Company's Pancake Robots, and the other one is Untitled Arts Cinnamon Roll Gold Stout.
I have a 3-way tie for first. In one of them is the local coffee meet here, Dane. If you ever come visit, and Jacob
Okay.
come back, we'll get you guys this. It's at Dueling Dogs Brewing Company, the coffee meet. It's really freaking good. The Mimosa, which I drank a few weeks ago on the podcast, that shit
Yeah.
was delicious. That was a 4.5 as well. And the Cali Squeeze Tropical Hefeweizen is in at a 4.5.
Yeah, Weizen.
4.5 is the highest I've ever had. I'm surprised Viva La Beaver isn't higher. I'm gonna have to re-drink it and put it higher because that shit's so fucking good. It's probably the best beer I've ever had. I just wasn't as liberal in
Yeah.
the rankings at the time.
There's one that I haven't. I don't think I have rated it here. I gave it a 4.75, which is Bark Lord by Transient Artisan Ales. But if I had to re-rank that, I would probably put that at a 5 as well.
Man, that beer's good. This was good. I was really happy with this. It's got the right amount of spice, pumpkin, coffee. Yeah, try it.
I'm jealous.
okay.
If you ever feel like having a pumpkin beer, for those that are in the chat or you two idiots, Elysian has their fall mix pack right now that you can go pick up. And
I will-
get a bunch of good ones.
I will also, to our listeners, highly recommend Southern Tier's Pumpkin and Warlord series that they have. It's also all pumpkin themed. They do the Warlord. They do a pumpkin nitro cold brew stout that literally tastes like you're drinking pumpkin coffee, but it's alcoholic. It's phenomenal.
I decided not to have it this time, but their actual just regular pumpkin ale from Elysian, which is called like that. It has like an owl on the cover of it. Doesn't matter. Anyway, their normal pumpkin beer, Carly claims is like the best that she's ever had. We had it like maybe a couple years ago. So, all right, my next beer is another Elysian from the same sample pack. It is their Dark of the Moon Pumpkin Stout.
And I am going with who the fuck put carrot in the cake? which is it's a 3-way collaboration by Abomination Brewing, Branch and Blade Brewing, and Skygazer Brewing. But it's an imperial sour ale with carrot, apricot, cinnamon, granola, cream cheese, and milk sugar.
Carrot cake is
Delicious.
in my top 5 cakes.
It's so good. Hold on. Let me
Top
clarify
3
that.
cakes.
Good carrot cake. Bad carrot cake is disgusting.
If you put raisins in your carrot cake, you can right out.
It's not even the raisins. Like sometimes people make it, it's so fucking dry.
That's true. There is some really dry carrot cake out there, but also God damn it, don't fucking put raisins in your carrot cake.
Yeah,
Give
don't
me
do
cream
it.
cheese frosting, and then come talk to me. All right, fantastic. Dane, what are you having next? Did you already say?
Another tree.
I'm just doing another truly the
Which
lemon
one?
flavor.
Let us know.
The lemon.
Lemon. All right,
Lemon.
Lemon.
Well, français.
Dane, you need to get an Untapped account too, whether you're a recurring, or a regular recurring.
It's going to be 97 check-ins of Coors Light
That's okay.
and the one
I don't know what
truly.
an untapped account is. I have
It's
no idea.
it's a beer ranking app.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You need to hop in there with us. I'm gonna force you to drink some. If I come up there and see, I'm gonna force you to drink some not Coors Light while I'm there. Okay, Dane,
No.
you know the
all right.
rules. You come to this podcast, you come with a topic. What is your topic for us this week? And I will anchor this episode.
Okay. Well, I got 2 different ones. I can't really decide. So, Jake, 1 or 2?
Let's go with 1.
1. Okay. Well, this kind of ties into last week's episode. That's the episode I was on. What are
it was.
3 tips you would give your younger self, like
Good one.
15 years ago?
Buy Bitcoin.
15 years.
I was thinking more like
wait
life
to
standards
take that.
besides specifics, but I guess, yeah, that's one of them. But Jake, since you started,
I think I would just tell myself to like generally care a little bit more. Like I've always kind of had that attitude where it's like, I'll be fine, which is like not a bad attitude to have. It's better than like fucking panicking that your life is in shambles all the time. But like if I tried harder at a lot of different things, I think I could have done better at them or put myself in a better place right now. So I think that'd be good advice to give little 12-year-old Jake. Just try harder.
I think this is one of the reasons we're friends is because like last week's episode, we kept answering the same things. That is exactly like, I wish I would have just taken things more serious. I've known him as this person who's just like very go with the flow. And, I didn't try super hard in sports. I didn't try super hard in school.
Yeah.
And I would just tell myself to, be more disciplined, take it seriously. It does matter down the road. And maybe I'd actually have a nice fancy job or something like that if I would have taken school a little bit more seriously and not dropped out.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so many things. Like I wish I cared more about my health. I wish I cared more about school. I wish I cared more about work. I wish I cared more about like spending time doing things that I really enjoyed as opposed to doing a lot of things that just like killed time just to get me places.
So if I was Dan and this was my topic, I'd force you to be that specific because when it comes down to it, right? Like if you say just take things more seriously, like that's a tough piece of advice to take as a recipient of that advice. Like if I hear somebody tell me to take things more seriously, I'm like, okay, Dad, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
That's fair.
What am I taking more seriously? How do I? And I agree with the things that you're saying. I'm just saying I would want a little bit more specific advice to myself, because I agree with you guys and I agree with everything that you're saying. And we've talked,
but it's just very
ad nauseum
broad.
about the fact that you should take education more seriously and place the right emphasis on it. And like I saw a quote today on Twitter, and I think it was Elon Musk that said it, but basically he was like, anybody that's going to college is doing it just to show that they can do their chores.
Basically.
And then anybody that really wants to learn can do anything for free, to learn anything for free online, right? And he's not wrong, and it's frustrating as shit when you go back to school as an adult and you're like, I'm not learning anything. I'm just doing this so I get the degree.
Yeah.
Especially as an online student, I've bitched about that on this podcast too. It's really frustrating to go back to school and like realize that people aren't there to teach you; they're there to collect the paycheck, and it's tough. And I'm sure some schools are better than others, and we've talked about this too. But in my experience with online school, they don't really care, and that can be really frustrating. So, yes, I agree. Take things more seriously. Just next piece of advice better be fucking specific out of your mouth.
All right.
I'm warning you.
Stop wasting money on stupid shit. Like I've probably like, okay, if you want to get super specific, learn how to cook and stop relying on restaurants to provide my food, because I've probably I did 1 year when I was still in college. I looked and I spent like $4,000 that year on Chipotle alone. Like that's fucking, That's a problem.
I don't even like Chipotle, so that's even funnier for me.
But yeah, just like imagine your favorite restaurant at the time, and you ate at it 5 times a week, and
Yeah.
sometimes you had it twice a day because it was just convenient. It was right next to your work. It was right next to your gym. It was right next to school.
Yeah, I get that.
Like if I just taught myself how to cook when I was younger, like I know how to cook now, and honestly, half the shit I cook tastes better than what I eat at restaurants, just because I know how to season shit. I know how to properly cook. Like I know proper temperatures for different like proteins and stuff like that. I think if I did that sooner, one, I'd have a lot more money right now. But two, I'd have never relied on restaurants as much for my food. So I wouldn't be going to McDonald's all the time. I probably would have never ballooned up to like 250 pounds like I did. Like I in general would have been healthier and more financially well off.
I think being poor in college is what kept me from being fat. Completely honestly, like I couldn't afford to get by
Yeah.
a bunch of food and go out to
I-
eat all the time. So
I mean, I basically made when I worked at Sprint, I was basically making what I got in my first job post grad. I was just getting it without a degree, and I was spending it all on. I was going out to restaurants. I was going to the bars.
Yeah.
If
Before
I
you
just,
do your third, I'll give my first because it'll branch into what you're saying, and it's not. It blends into that and what Uncle Kyle is saying here, which I just put on the screen. I don't know if you already did that or not, but he said quit smoking, get your CDO, and stop caring about others' opinions and save money. And to encompass what Jake said and what I'm going to say, or what Uncle Kyle said and what I said, is it's understanding money and understanding how to budget. So this doesn't mean save every penny you've ever made. This means understand responsible spending, and that what goes into that is like how do I proportion my money into the proper ways to save, spend on necessities like rent and bills and food, and then how to take a chunk of that money and appropriately allocate it to some sort of a savings.
right.
In any type of savings, right? Like in to be knowledgeable in that process, like what's the difference between getting a CD or buying bonds or buying stocks or like just putting it in into a money market account, like things like that. Like I would want to know that because I honestly didn't know that until maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of those things, and it's detrimental to people that are younger because I made enough money to go out and drink a lot, which means I made a lot of enough money to budget and to more adequately save for my future. And the good thing about it too is like if you're even putting a little bit away, when it goes away and like you put it into like something other than in your like checking account, you kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
And I always caveat these statements with like I understand if you're in like a criminally fucking like under budgeted household, like I know what that's like to live in, and it can be really, really difficult to save. But if you find yourself as like a college student and you're going out every weekend and spending $50-$60 at the bar every weekend, trust me, you have the money to save. Like,
And guess what?
And they say if you start at 20 investing and it takes the average of 10% in say the stock market, you can invest $5,000 now at 20. If you invest $50,000 at 50, the 20-year-old makes a hell of a lot more money because
100%.
they started earlier. So I get where you're coming from, definitely.
There's plenty of good calculators out there that show like if you want to maintain X standard of living in retirement, like how much you need to have at major milestones in your life, like how much money do I have to have at 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. Or you can break it down into smaller increments. But there's some really good free resources out on the internet, which I would have liked to have looked at when I was younger.
And also, if you have enough money to go out to the bars all the time, you still have enough money to invest some of that money or spend that money more intelligently and still get fucked up and have a good time.
I was gonna say, I'm not saying don't have fun.
Case of beer is
some fucking
13.
fun.
Case of beer in Illinois, $13 gets you 24 Bud Lights.
Get hammered
Just
before you
saying.
go to the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. Go to the bar, make somebody else buy you a drink. Just be like, hey,
Yeah.
I didn't bring my wallet. Can you buy me
you
one?
can do both. You
Yeah.
just need to be smart about it.
yeah, exactly.
All right, Dane, what's your number one?
Or number two. He agreed with me.
Well, yeah, my number one kind of was just on that broad statement of Jake because I didn't actually go through and figure my three out before I said this topic, but I'm just gonna say another one I would do is just tell my younger self to listen to my dad.
Yeah.
My dad tried so hard to like be financially smart and be smart with money and don't piss it away and start when you're young. And it took up until I think like 2 years ago. He's been doing this since I was 10, telling me to be smart with money and show me the stock market and pull me into the room and tell me all these things and show me all these different graphs and everything, and I never listened because I just was like, I don't need to know that, like whatever. And now here I am. I mean, reading financial books and
with $1 as a bookmark.
Yeah.
trying to catch up on all these years that I kind of pissed away not listening to them, thinking I don't need it, and now I'm like, well, that was dumb. So
most
and
kids
it's
get
not
the
just
same advice,
financial.
right?
I
Like,
mean,
listen
it's
to your parents, like,
Yeah.
and nobody does, and it's tough, but and then you get really mad if they like force it to, it's
Yeah.
working with young people and teenagers, like specifically, has to be the worst fucking job on the planet. Like, it's just, you're so fucking stubborn and you think you know it all, and it's I know that's how I was, like, you don't know shit, I'm fucking ruling this town, like, you just get this mentality of like invincibility when you're younger, and it's hard to overcome that, I'm sure, as a parent or a teacher or whatever,
Well, because parents always say they have the experience, and I mean, they have 30 years on you, which my parents are 30 years older, and I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. Like,
It was different when you were young.
Yeah, like no, 30 years is a lot.
Like, nope, it's the same shit. We just have iPhones now.
It is a lot of experience.
So
but that's also true. I mean, there's an aspect to that too, like the technology. Anyway, we're gonna go down a way big rabbit hole there, but there's generational differences in terms of technology and things like that do change. I think it's bridged the gap a little bit between life experience and like education. You know what I mean? Things like that. So, I don't know, but that's a different rabbit hole. But anyway, yeah, that's a good one for sure. Jake,
what is your
I'll
second
go with my
one,
number
Kyle?
2 because you got okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the number 2 for me because this was really tough for me forever, and I think it took me until I don't know my late 20s, I guess, to really get my shit together when it came to this, and that's to be more confrontational. I think I was really afraid, maybe is the right word, or hesitant to do anything confrontational ever.
Yeah.
Like, I shrunk in confrontation and I just would back away. And that's a really tough spot to be in because there's some places where people need to hear that confrontation or where you need to hear that confrontation, right? And you need to be able to take it and give it at the same time, so to speak. And so I was forced into it because of certain like places that I found myself, and I've gotten better at that over time. But if I was like, you just got to fucking force yourself to be confrontational when you're younger, and it's uncomfortable as shit, and you just got to do it because then you're going to feel more comfortable in those situations, right? Even when it comes to like, I'm going to go confront my boss for a raise, like that's a confrontation, right? You know what I mean? It's not just a conversation, that's a confrontation, I would say, most of the time. And so like if you get more comfortable in those types of situations younger, it's going to make those situations so much easier. Practice makes perfect in that type of a situation. And I'm not saying go out there and like start fucking screaming at people and get better at that. I'm saying get better in uncomfortable situations, like with people. People skills.
I mean, even to this day, like if a restaurant fucks up my food, if it's close
That's
enough,
a tough one.
yeah, if it's close
I don't
enough,
say anything.
yeah, if it's close enough to what I was asking, or like I ordered a burger from this restaurant one time and I knew I wouldn't like the sauce that they put on it, and I was like, let me get it without the sauce, and it came out with the sauce, and yeah, even I didn't say anything. Jess was like, hey, it came with the sauce, and the guy at the restaurant was like, but it's good. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't fucking want it, dude.
Dude,
so
food's tough for not just the confrontation reason though, but if you've ever worked in the service industry, like I don't care if you've like a server or a bartender or whatever, like,
you hate being that guy,
and it's not that motherfucker's fault.
Yeah,
and so it's like, I am so sorry. I'm just not trying to make your day harder. Like I know your job can be fucking miserable, and I don't want to make it worse than it already is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a tough conference. I'm still bad at that for sure. I'll eat a fucking raw ass cheeseburger when I ask for it if it has to come down to it, or take it home and microwave it or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's why I'm with Bailey, because I'll be like, oh, they fucked up my burger, and she'll be like, excuse me, waiter, this is definitely fucked up, because I won't say anything. I'll just be like, yeah, I'll eat raw meat. Fuck it, I don't give a shit. He's probably busy.
We have time, so I'll tell a quick story. We went out to eat, and it was over. I feel like it was over one of the holidays. I could be wrong, but Carla and I were going to go out to eat, and my buddy, his wife had left town with his kids, and they were going to go back to some other place and like visit her family or whatever, but he was staying in town for some work related reasons. So we're like, hey man, it's the weekend, like you're alone, you want to come out to eat with us? And sure. We go to Texas Roadhouse and we all get steaks or whatever. We're having like a nice little dinner, and like I like my steak medium, dude. Like if it's any rarer than that, I just can't eat it. I'm kind of a baby about it. I can't do it. I ate like well done everything for my entire life, and I've advanced slowly to the medium phase, and I don't think I'll ever get past that.
There's nothing wrong with medium.
Anyway, so I order it medium, and it comes out piss rare. Just like, I'm not gonna eat this fucking
like basically black and blue, or
I'll
like...
take it. I mean, it wasn't like disgusting, but it was definitely like it was pretty rare. And so I was like, I'm not gonna eat this shit. Like, I'll just take it home later, and like I'll just eat my sides. I'll be fine. And this dude, he's from fucking Missouri. He's got a thick Southern accent, and he literally just looks across the bar and goes, "Hey, hey, his steak's undercooked," and screams across this fucking restaurant. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is the most uncomfortable position I've ever been in."
That's when you get up and leave.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh, I'm good."
I'm
Dude, and
leaving.
the worst part about it is like the waitress comes over and was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like I asked if everything was okay, and you said yeah." I was like, "That's because it is. It is totally okay with me. I'm not going to complain. I don't care. It's fine. I'll eat it at home later. It's not a big deal." She's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, 100% sure. Then the manager comes over. "Hey, I heard you had an underdone steak," and I was like, "Oh my god, it's fine. Like I'm totally fine." He's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes, I am so sure. Just please end this uncomfortable situation." And then they both come back over before the check comes out, and they're like, "Just want to make sure you're." I was like, "My god, I gotta fucking leave. Get me out of here. This is the worst experience of my life, just because of a steak that I wasn't gonna eat." But yeah, I ended up eating it at home later. It was literally no fucking problem. But that guy, I'll never forget that shit for the rest of my life.
That's funny though. I like that. All right, last one for me. And this is more just for like for my mental health. It would have been better to realize this when I was younger. And it's that people don't really give a shit about you. And when I say that, I mean like people aren't judging you every second of every day like you think they are.
Yeah.
And I think the social media generation makes us think like we have to look a certain way, or we have to act a certain way, we have to buy certain things, we have to eat certain things, we have to do certain things a certain way, or people are going to think we're like fucking idiots or stupid or ugly or fat or whatever.
Yeah.
And like I probably wouldn't have gotten as fat as I did, and I probably would have like just generally been in a healthier situation if I didn't think about people thinking I was fat. Because like I just kept eating, and I was like, oh, I can just hide it. People aren't going to notice. Like they notice, but nobody cares. Nobody ever made a comment to me like, "Hey, bro, you're getting up there," or like your best friends obviously joke around with you, and that's obviously like never really affected me. Like, shut up. So like people, but yeah, like people like Dane could make fun of me, and I knew he didn't mean it, or like certain friends of mine could make fun of me, and I knew they didn't mean it. But like if people outside of that group would say something, that would hurt. But it's also like that never really happened. It happened like maybe twice in my
People are
entire
usually more
life.
courteous than that, yeah.
But like I think, and a lot of like my eating problems were because of like just mental problems that I was dealing with. And I think if I didn't stress about that kind of thing as much and just like realize that people weren't judging me the way that I thought they were. I agree, Uncle Kyle, that it was that way before social media, but I do think social media made it worse.
Oh yeah,
I think, yeah, and you can finish your thought if you want, but I was just going to say that I think social media has changed the amount that you see about it. Because like,
yeah,
and I always feel like a boomer when I talk about this, but the keyboard warrior mentality is so real. Like people are so unafraid to say things from behind the veil of a keyboard. And so you do get a lot more of that negative criticism, I think, when it comes to the, online and social media, and it affects people, like it fucks people up in the head. And so it's weird, man. Social media is a weird place. And like, I feel like I'm right on that place, like age wise, where I'm like so much closer to deleting it than diving down that rabbit hole of like feeling the need to be judged by everybody all the time. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'd rather just delete all social media completely, like today, and never bring it back, and just live my life that way than dive deeper down the rabbit hole of like hunting for likes and shit. It's just,
but that's even like, even though I won't say I've blown up on social media, but like I have like 1,400 followers on Twitter. Like that's a pretty decent amount. It's nothing compared to a lot of accounts, but like I started gaining more followers and like having more fun on Twitter when I stopped caring. Oh, people are going to think this take is, especially for football, like, oh, people are going to think this take is too out there, or like I'm too hard stuck in this. Like when I just stopped caring about what other people thought of me in general, like my life has been exponentially better since.
Sure.
And it's just like,
I go next because mine's going to tie into Jake's.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, I'm going to skip over you for now. So mine it's tied to it, but not the same. So my third piece is don't be afraid to look like a fool. And I say that not from necessarily like the social media standpoint, because that's obviously I didn't grow up with it, right? Like until 2007 or whatever the fuck when I got MySpace. But it's a more of a like asking questions concept for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't be afraid to be the person in the room asking the questions. Everybody's always that person, right? They're like, nobody's asking questions. I'm gonna sit here and asking questions because I'm gonna look like an idiot. Fuck that, dude. Okay, so like specifically in school, right? And I've argued this point. Like I don't think schools are there to teach you, but also that's partially on the individual that's trying to get taught. Because if you're not asking the questions when you don't understand something, then they're not going to teach you. And then
Right.
you're going to feel like you didn't learn anything, right?
You're
'Cause you don't
also
understand. So
more often than not, you're not the only person with the question.
yeah,
Yeah.
and everybody always says that. And it's still super hard to do this. And I understand because even still today, sometimes I'm like, oof, I'm an idiot, if I ask this question. So it's hard to do. And I think online school has actually helped me get over that because I'm like, who gives a fuck? These people don't know me. They're in a different state. I'm going to ask whatever
Yeah.
questions I want, And so it became a little easier in that sense. But at the end of the day, specifically in school or on the job, which is a little bit more hard, I guess, but specifically in school, I'm like, ask the fucking question, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to learn this shit for real, like you actually want to learn, ask the question. Don't be afraid.
Well,
to
because
read
then
it.
also everything past that is even more confusing because you didn't understand step 1,
Yeah.
and now step 2, 3, and 4 are even more confusing. So
Yeah.
just
100%.
it doesn't make sense not to ask. So
Yeah, I spent a lot of years not asking questions because I was like, I don't want to be the idiot in the room. So don't do that. Don't be me. All right, that's all I got. Dane, what's yours?
you guys can attest to this. I would tell my younger self that I need to be a better friend throughout my life.
Yeah.
I tend to disappear, and I tend to focus on me, and I tend to leave people in the dust. And especially once I moved, the second a friendship kind of got hard trying to keep up with people, I was just like, whatever, and just kind of threw it. And now at 27, I mean, I have a wedding on the line that's coming up soon, and I'm trying to think of people to invite, and I'm just like, I don't even know these people like me anymore because I haven't talked to them in years, but like I still really like them, and I just wasn't always the greatest friend. I mean, I could admit that. And I would tell myself, you got to try a little harder. You got to call people, you got to text back. And because I do the thing all the time where I'll look at my phone, I'll see a message, I'll put it down, I'll walk away and completely forget. And
same.
it's just those little things I would have to do better at in my life, and I can try and do better at now, but I would
I
definitely
didn't
tell
say
myself.
by the way, to like point that at you. Like you need to be better. I
We've
said
all
that.
done
I'm doing the same thing.
I've done that to Dane. Like there've been like when I've had girlfriends in the past, or like when I first met Jess, like obviously like when you first get in a relationship, you're like, it's all you think about. You're spending a lot of your time with that person.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely been times where like I could have been a better friend too. Like it's never just a one-way street with friendship anyways, but like we've all been that friend before that just
100%.
kind of ghosts everybody else.
They always kind of say like if you don't have friends for like, I mean, I guess this isn't maybe a common saying, but people like often refer to like if you don't have like the long-term friends and like as other people do, it's probably like you that's the problem. And specifically, those groups are staying together and you're the only one like exiting. And I think that's true for me a lot. Like I distance myself from a group for whatever reason. Like I get involved in like a school friend group and I forget about my other friend group, or like I get involved in like a work friend group and forget about like you have I have a tendency to teeter one way or the other and get like a little bit tunnel visioned onto one thing, and then you kind of lose sight of some of those other friendships. Yeah, it's tough, dude. Especially in your adult life when you start moving around and shit. Friendship is fucking tough to maintain.
Yeah.
Well, that's why
That
I'm
makes it
happy.
easier.
Like our little trio through distance
Digital
and
baby.
Hell
and
yeah.
moving and all that has stuck together as well as we have. But I mean, you go back to high school. I mean, I wasn't a popular kid, but I knew everybody. I was friends with everybody, and now I'm friend with one kid from high school and one I met on video games. So like, and that's like, you guys are my friend group. And I mean, past that, everybody I talk to once every few months, maybe.
Yeah.
If,
I have
if I'm
casual
lucky.
like connections with people from the past, but for the most part, it's
There's
it's like a hey, how you doing?
Yeah, there's a few people I play softball with.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the only people from high school I talk to.
It's
like
even
besides
harder.
Dane.
Like, making new friends as an adult is so difficult.
They just play video games.
You're not forced into a lot of those like common situations, right? Like,
Yeah.
other than work. Like you're not.
You're not at school
with 1,000
playing
fucking
sports.
people.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It was a good topic. Thanks, Dane.
It was good.
problem.
We're gonna go over this
Made you
week, but
think
we're
of
gonna say fuck it.
We don't need to because both of mine are probably pretty short.
Well, let's do
but
both of them.
Also, well, we could maybe do that too. But would you rather go still into the deep, or would you rather go a more fun topic?
Both. We're doing both.
Dane, would you rather do fun or deep?
Well, we're on
So to
the
speak.
message of deep, so let's do deep. But keep talking. I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick. I'm gonna keep this on so I can hear what it is. But I've been holding this in for like 20 minutes now, so I'll be right back.
You give Dane 2 Trulies and he can't hang. It's
What
okay,
a-
Dane.
what an
Appreciate you.
athlete.
We'll wait for him to get back. That's okay. We can go a little bit over time. But yeah, I've got 2 topics. One of them, either of them could take a little while. One of them was suggested by Carly, and it's the more fun topic, I think. And then I've got one that I've been stashing for a little bit. But it's going to be a quick one, but more serious.
Gotcha.
So I'm
I
fine
think
going either way.
it's your birthday episode. We can go over. It's our podcast. We make the rules. People listen either way. Guess what? I do want to say for anybody who is here watching now or listening to this postpartum, that's not the right
Postpartum.
word. That's not the right word. Holy.
Sheesh.
Oh, these beers are about 8.5% over here. Anyways, listening after we are live, thank you for all the support that you guys have been giving us.
100%.
It's been phenomenal. We're at something like we had our last 30 days was like 1,000% or over 1,000% more than any other month that we have had. Like a good month for us in the past was like a really good month was like 1/6 of what we have done this in these past 30 days, which is awesome to see. Our followers have increased too. We have more YouTube subscribers. Like the love that you guys have been giving us is great. And we love obviously the support. We love the interaction. We love having Dane on the podcast. And hopefully he can, keep coming on from time to time, but whoever's in Dane's chair now, arguably slightly more handsome.
That's true. Yeah,
Definitely.
100%. Yeah, the big thing is, and like I tweeted out about this on our account the other week, like we're just here to hang out and have a good time. And if people want to join in on that, we're more than welcome to bring you into the fold. Uncle Kyle is a fixture of this podcast. We love having
Facts.
him here, and we have fun hanging out with him too. So if you need a place to hang out, like this is it. In my opinion, like, and some people probably disagree with things that we say or don't want to hear it, or don't like to talk about the things that they like to talk about, and that's fine. But if you do, come join us. We have a good time.
Yeah.
Here, so.
We are here. We've always said this podcast is a reason for Kyle and I to get together for an hour, have a couple beers, and just most of the time when we're hanging out, we're talking about football or we're playing video games, and we're often talking about football while we play video games.
True.
So it's nice to just be able to talk about whatever we want, learn a little bit more about each other, learn a little bit more about our audience. And Dane's back and cracking open a Truly. So Kyle, what topic of yours are we starting off with? Since
All right,
we're probably
going to
going
go
to
with
do
fun
both.
first. It'll break
All
it
right.
up a little bit because we've been
I like
pretty
it.
serious. All right, so of you and your spouse or soon-to-be spouse, I want to know, how do you guys plan for a trip? Do you have the same way of planning, or is one of you the I throw my shit in a bag last minute and walk out the door, and one of them is the I plan for this for a week and get my shit together and like pack early and I'm ready to walk out the door? Or are you both the same way?
Nope.
And then how do you feel about it?
So when I was
topic, by the way, thank you, Carly.
thanks, Carl.
Shout out.
When I was coming to visit you guys, when you guys were moving and I was coming out there to help you, I think I packed like 3 or 4 days prior. I like double checked everything, still fucking forgot things because of course I did. But like I'm not really a planner per se, but when it comes to going on a trip, I like pack super early. I want to like have my shit ready. I want to know what I'm wearing, what I'm doing, like have my suitcase, everything packed away. I freak out about when I have to be at the airport, my flights, all that shit. And then Jess is just like, I'll get there. If I didn't bring it, I'll buy it. So we are polar opposites.
Yeah. Do you have to force Jess to like? Do you like have like a checklist for her? Like when since you're like the type A personality that needs to pack early, are you like, did you remember? Did you make sure you
Yes,
that type of person?
I am. We're both. So it's weird because we're both kind of that person. She'll be the one to like say, make a checklist, make sure you bring everything, but also is like, we'll just throw everything together last minute with the checklist and like it's probably fine. Whereas I'm like, I'd never think about needing a checklist, and if I do make a checklist, I never end up actually fucking using it anyway. Or it's like a quick scroll through, like, yeah, I think I have all of that. I hope I do, because I'm so stressed about every other aspect of it that like the checklist is like the last thing I think of.
Yeah.
I just get overwhelmed.
Well, I can go into a whole nother conversation of it. Kind of just depends on the trip. I mean, the more excited I am, the earlier I'll pack. But most of my time is spent trying to convince Bailey to pack early, because I mean, she stresses out like an ungodly amount of when it comes to packing and making sure she has everything. Yeah, she's a last minute, and I pack last minute too. But I'm very relaxed about it. I don't think too hard about it, and but she's definitely the one who, I don't want to use the word freaks out because she doesn't like freak out, but she she definitely stresses a lot when it comes to vacation. I mean, she left at 7:30 this morning, and she started packing at 7:02 this morning. So,
If you're a stressor, that's bold.
I would
Good for
have
her.
Well,
I
we
would have
went
a
out.
full blown panic attack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good for her, man.
But yeah, most of my time is spent trying to convince her to pack early so that we could spread the stress out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm very relaxed when it comes to
Yeah,
packing. But yeah,
I am the opposite of Jake. So for
Yeah.
for us, Carly packs. She puts out a folding table and starts laying stuff out.
Yep.
Maybe a week in advance. Sometimes
me.
3 days, but maybe. a week.
I don't get out the folding table. Everything that I'm bringing just gets slowly stacked on top of my dresser.
She gets out a folding table and she's ready. She starts laying out everything that's going on the folding table, and she'll tell me to do the same and put it on the folding table. And every time she says that, I'm like, nah, I'm fucking good.
no.
And so for me, I am a last minute packer and a stress free packer, which is a bad combination. Honestly, if you're going to pack, especially for like an important trip, and I could go into like 15 fucking stories about some really detrimental failures I've had in packing.
Yep, same.
Like, things that I've forgotten to take with me when I really needed them, or things that I forgot to bring home with me. Like cell phone chargers was the biggest one for a while. I forgot cell phone chargers every time I left home. But I have a zero stress attitude about it. I'll like throw open the suitcase the night before, throw enough clothes in it, close it up, call it good, and then Carly will whip out the checklist on me and be like, "Did you remember?" And I'm like, "Nope, nope,
Nope. Nope.
nope."
Guess we're going to Walmart.
But I have the mentality just like Jess, to where I'm like, if I don't absolutely need it, I can buy it.
Yeah, and
I
Yeah.
need my license. I need my passport.
that's
I mean,
it.
past that, I mean, I can.
Yeah, I can make one pair. I can make one
I-
set of clothes work if I really
I
need
could buy
to.
clothes. I could buy a toothbrush. I could buy toothpaste. As long as I guess money, ID, passport. Beyond that, I mean, those are the things I make sure that I have. Oh, and phone, I guess.
I went on a trip like that one time with my family where like I just didn't pack shirts somehow, and we just went to Target, bought like a 5-pack of Hanes black T-shirts, and that's what I wore for like the entire trip.
Yeah, I was coming home one time and like forgot my shoes.
Dane forgot a
Wasn't
pair.
quite as bad as Dane.
I've got a pair of Dane shoes that he left here.
I
Which
still
is-
had shoes, but they like were like boots, and so I was wearing shorts and boots at the airport because I had
Nice.
forgotten my fucking shoes. Like there's so many stories of just like things that I just completely fucking forget, and so I've tried to get a little better. And honestly, thank God Carly has the opposite of me, because I try to like calm her down, like we're gonna be fine, like it's cool, we're gonna be good, and she definitely like amps me up a little bit to be a little bit more strategic and like making sure I actually bring the things that I need, so you're not wasting money buying it again. But yeah, it's kind of wild when you have opposite personalities, and it's interesting that you were the opposite too, because I would have expected maybe not so much. But
Jess is definitely much more, and I think it's just my anxiety, but I get much more like I get more type A like as deadlines approach.
yeah,
Even though I'm super lackadaisical in a lot of things in my life, like if I have a deadline, I'm fucking stressed.
yeah. I guess I don't really have that, and to be fair, sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. I just generally don't stress that much.
Yeah.
I'm
That's,
I'm
I mean,
pretty,
I
like,
think that's a good
not
thing.
how I am.
I'm pretty neutral all the time.
Yeah.
But that can be bad too, because if you approach deadlines and you're not stressing out, then there's nothing really like kicking you in the ass to get shit done.
Yeah.
So that can definitely be a challenge too. But usually pretty low stress.
Well, that's exactly what Bailey does for me. Is I'm always like, I'll get to the airport like 15 minutes before my time, and
Dude, that's
she's
like
the
my
one who
brother.
actually taught me that you have to have your bag checked 45 minutes before, because I didn't know that. Reno's got a small airport, so I was like, I'll get there like 30 minutes before.
Yeah.
It takes me like 12 minutes on a bad day to get through security. And she's the one who's like, no, you got to get there at least an hour. Give yourself some time.
Yeah.
Because the one time you don't get there an hour early,
Yep.
there's going to be a line. You're going to miss your flight. And so she's
Yeah.
kicked me in the ass a lot, but I'm still very stress-free and just like, I do not worry about it.
My brother's way worse than me, and that's just because he didn't understand air travel either. But he was supposed to be at my wedding, and he was like, thought it was like a taxi. He's like, oh, I'll show up right on time. Like, I'll get there. My flight's at 3:00. I'll get there at 2:59. Who cares? Like, I'm gonna be there right when it's supposed to like be leaving. Like, why would that be an issue? And he completely missed his flight to come to my wedding because he like did not understand that you have to show up early for air travel, which is hilarious. He just hadn't flown that much, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
You can't be calling somebody ignorant if they just haven't experienced it. But it's like I was like, what the fuck, man? Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? You know,
You're like, God
Was he
damn
in
it."
the wedding?
we had a courthouse wedding, you know, so like nobody
Oh,
was
yeah,
really
that's right.
in the wedding.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, okay.
either way, it was he was gonna be there for me, you know, and like
Yeah.
it's just completely missed it. Ended up showing up. He got a later flight and showed up that night, and we had a good time partying. But it was just like, what the fuck, dude? You know? TSA PreCheck is amazing. There's a lot of ways to get it credited to you, which we've talked about on Not a Financial Advisor episodes, so you can look into that, as Uncle Kyle has chimed in the chat. That actually takes us almost perfectly to time, so I'll save my other topic for another day.
Fine.
And it was a funner one, so we don't have to go too deep for the end of the podcast. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for another episode of Two Average Husbands. Thank you, Dane, for joining us for another episode of Two Average Husbands. You can follow the podcast at number 2 AVG Husbands, as you see scrolling across the screen if you're on YouTube. That's on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook, admittedly less active there. And you can find either of us on our personal Twitters. Jake is at Perry_FF, and I'm at Kyle and Herson, and Dane has it at the number 2 AVG Husbands to throw the shout out back out to us. You can follow, and if Dane wants to throw the shout out to Dailies, that's perfect, to Dailies Dog Company. You can throw that out there too for the hashtag or the for Instagram, which I believe is. Oh, I'm gonna blank. Dane's gonna look it up.
Ideal Canine. Come on,
Ideal Canine,
guys.
thank
Well,
you.
it's Ideal Canine, but I know last time we did this, I got called out because I fucked it up last time.
So his soon-to-be wife, which you can kind of half see in the picture over Dane's head, is a dog trainer, and she runs a really awesome dog training company. And you can find that on Instagram as well and follow the dog training company. And I will happily shout that out.
And it is just Ideal Canine, not actual spelled out canine, Canine.
There you go. You can find them on Instagram too, and that's a great account to follow. She posts tips and tricks all the time, and it's fun to see the awesome dogs that they get in there for training. So other than that, thank you for joining us. If you don't want to watch, you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Samsung Podcasts, or some shit that Jake put out there.
Samsung Podcast, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, RSS
iHeartRadio.
Community,
We're literally
Google
fucking everywhere now.
Yeah,
You can
there's like
anywhere you
30
listen to a
places.
podcast, you're gonna
Yeah.
find us.
And if
then you can obviously watch live now on multiple streams, which is Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter right now, and you can talk to us live on YouTube or
Twitch or Discord or Twitter.
or Twitch. Fucking everywhere. We're
Figure it
goddamn
out.
everywhere.
You can talk if you want
We're
to
here
talk to
party.
us. You can figure it out. We're here to have a
Talked
good
long
time.
enough. Thank you, Jake. You can close this out.
As always, Kyle covered
Oh,
pretty
shit,
much
Jake.
everything.
Rate your beer.
Yeah, this one was better. This one's like a solid. I'll give it like a 3. It's still not great, but it's pretty good. It was
Okay, for
solid
me,
3
the
even.
Elysian, what was this one called? The Dark of the Moon Pumpkin Stout. If you really like cinnamon and stouts, you're going
I
to love
do.
this. It is a heavy cinnamon flavor,
I love
and that's like the most that you get in terms of a spice. You taste a little bit of the pumpkin and a fuckload of cinnamon, but it's not bad.
Awesome.
3.25.
Love it. Like Kyle said, we are basically everywhere. If you want to listen to us on whatever podcast platform you use and we're not on there, let us know. I'll get us on there. It's not that hard, but we'll figure it out. Thank you again, like I said, for all the support that you guys have given us over the past month. It's been phenomenal. We love having you guys coming out, listening to the episodes. If you're listening to us after the fact, come check out these live episodes, man. They're fun. We have a good time. We have a couple drinks. Even if you don't drink, come grab a handful of Skittles and have a good time with us. But Kyle covered most of it, as always. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you check out Kyle's social media. Tell him happy birthday. His birthday's coming up in about, a few hours here?
Well, it's Midwest 5 a.m.
5 hours
so.
for me, so 3 hours for you.
Yeah. In just a few hours, it'll be Kyle's birthday. So make sure you stop by his social media. Tell him happy birthday. Tell us happy birthday on Average Husbands for Kyle specifically. But thank you all for tuning in. We will see you in the next episode. And as always, don't forget to tell somebody that you love them.
Peace.
Later.